Have you seen today's releases in the papers on President Eisenhower's statement of taking off the gloves and all that stuff, getting tough? Have you seen those releases?
I heard something about it. I've read the New York Times and the Herald Tribune this morning, and they had in detail the speech, I think, and complete. And it's very nice. You know, I'm rather sure that the Republicans have the jitters now, and we've got them to work. And you maybe to get them to talk about the issues. There are no issues discussed in that speech, however, the President.
Thank you.
Speaking of issues, Mr. President, the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago ran a long article indicating that the Republicans were going to bypass other issues to concentrate on big unions as being Democratic inspired.
That'll be perfectly satisfactory to me, but they're not going to bypass the other issues because I'm going to need them, so they're going to have to answer on them, and they can't.
Sir, Mr. Eisenhower says the left-wingers and radicals have taken over the Democratic Party. Do you care to comment on that?
Yes, that isn't true, of course. The Republican statement probably was put in there by the Madison Avenue boys, but the first radicals in politics in the United States were the radical Republicans headed by Thad Stevens of Pennsylvania back in the 1860s, and I think you'll find that they caused the impeachment of Andrew Johnson. They didn't succeed in convicting him, but that's where the word radical first originated. And there are sections of the Republicans who are radical on the right and radical on the left. I don't know of any radical Democrats, however. They're for the welfare of the common people.
Mr. Truman, about a week ago, you were quoted as saying that you'd enjoy it very much if Secretary Benson and Nixon were a team for the Republican Party. How do you feel about Ruther's statement Sunday that Chief Justice Warren would be a good Republican candidate and might get Labor's vote?
I didn't know anything about Ruther's statement, but there isn't a finer man in the United States than Chief Justice Warren. He's a friend of mine, and I like him. He dedicated my library, and you ought to read the speech he made there.
Do you think the Democrats would have a tough time against Mr. Warren?
The Democrats would win no matter who was up. But it would be nice to have a man that knew where he was going for a candidate for president.
Thank you.
Truman, have you read Arthur Schlesinger's article in the New Republic about 2 weeks ago in which he said the death watch of the Democrats in which they are supposed to be throwing the so-called eggheads out, or have you read that?
Yes, I've read it. It's nice reading. I say it's nice reading, but it doesn't mean a thing. A man's a Democrat, whether he's an egghead or an ignoramus, if he believes in the democratic principle. And Republicans, you know, are all high hats and special privileged people. That's the only difference between the two parties. Democrats take care of the common people, and the Republicans exploit them.
Would you be in favor of throwing out the Southern Democrats?
No, I want all the votes we can get. I'll take as many Southern votes as I can get. You know, some of them seceded when I ran in 1948, but they didn't cause me to lose. And they were sorry they did it afterwards.
Mr. Truman, you were quoted as talking about Dewey-itis for the Democratic Party. Here in Pennsylvania, the surveys show that the Democrats are going to have a fairly easy time winning a great number of seats. How do you feel about that?
I don't think people ought to let surveys interfere with the work to get people to the polls and see that they vote the Democratic ticket, because the election is never won until the polls close on election night.
Mr. President,
Hello, Tony.
What do you think the reception Newcastle gave you?
I think it's just like 48, Tony, when you boys didn't think I had a chance. Looks like the Democrats are feeling all right again.
Mr. President, you said, the President indicated last night that he had jitters.
No, I didn't say that, Tony. I said the statement had been made by some people that his trip and Nixon's trip had given the Democrats the jitters. It's the Republicans that have the jitters, and that's the reason they ran their big steamrollers out to see what they could do about it. It pleases me immensely. It shows they're scared. We're not afraid of them.
Mr. President, do you think the Democrats may be a little overconfident?
I'm afraid of that. That's the only thing I'm preaching against. I call it Dewey-itis. That's what he suffered from in 48.
What I was trying to get at, Mr. President, the apparent change in Eisenhower's speaking material, do you think that...
I didn't know there was any change. I can't understand either kind. I didn't understand it before, and I don't understand it now.
All the reporters called it tougher than he's usually made. I was just wondering if Nixon is dictating strategy or now...
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a finger in the pie, and I hope he does, because his strategy is character assassination. I certainly hope the president won't enter into that.
What motive you made of your decision to come to Western Pennsylvania, Mr. Truman?
I'm working for the National Democratic Committee, and I go where they think I may be of some help to the Democrats. I've been from New York to California and between 16 and 24 states, and I've had a good time all the time. It's been up and down and crossways.
You seem to be running against Walter Reuther instead of the Democratic nominee.
Well, they don't dare run on what they've done and while they've been in power. They can't do that, so they have to do something to take people's minds off what the issues are. I'm not going to let them do that.
Mr. Truman, on the President Formosa situation, would you do anything different if you were president now than Mr. Eisenhower is doing?
I can't answer a hypothetical question because you know the situation is never entirely and clearly known except by the President of the United States, and he's the only one that can make the decisions. I tried my best to prevent the foreign policy program ever to get into partisan politics. I've always preached that it ought to stop at the water's edge, and nobody makes foreign policy but the President of the United States. And I'm not in a position to intelligently discuss this situation to which you refer because I don't know what's behind the facts. I know that those islands are under the treaties that were made at Potsdam and the agreements that were signed by the Russians at the Yalta and Potsdam. I was there at Potsdam, helped to write them. The Russians broke 33 of those agreements within a year and a half.
Do you think we can permanently keep Red China out of the United Nations? Do you think we'll have
I can't answer that question either. I wouldn't let them in if I had control of the United Nations because you can't trust them. They just lie to you and steal your property and then look at you and laugh. I don't like that kind of business. I want people to keep their agreements when I deal with them.
Sir, you're sitting next to a member of Congress. You think the Democrats are going to gain many seats this fall?
Well, from all I can hear, I think they're on the road to improve the majority in the House and the Senate both. I'm not a political prophet nor a pollster, and I don't believe in them. So I don't like to make political prognostications, but wherever I've been, the trend seems to be toward the Democratic Party because people have got sick of this special privilege program, which is the Republican platform.
Sir, does it occur to you that Senator Symington will win in Missouri?
Senator Simon will win by a tremendous majority in Missouri. I can talk about Missouri because I know the situation there better than any place else, but I can't give you the same information on any other state.
Would you vote for him for president?
Well, I'll answer that question after 1958 election is over. They've been trying to get me to answer that question from one end of the country to the other, and you're not in class by yourself. Anything else on your mind then? You know, I've got
Mr. President, what did you go from here to the dinner now? You have no other...
I'm going from here and go over my ballyhoo I'm going to put out to you fellas tonight, and wash my face and put on a clean shirt and see if I can't get myself fixed up to make you a speech.